Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. It's our last show before Thanksgiving, Tony. What are you thankful for? Last show?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. 3 things: family, friends, and ESPN President Jimmy Pitaro.
Okay, you know what?
What?
That little suck-up move is not going to help.
I think it will.
It's not going to help.
No, I think it will.
It's only 2:30 in the West.
No.
He's probably taking a lunch right now with a big producer or director.
He actually lives in the East now. He actually lives in the East.
That's what he told you.
I think he watches the show.
He told you.
I think he's going to love
He's
that.
in L.A.
I think he's going to love that.
It's pathetic.
I'm hoping. Welcome to the PTI Thanksgiving Feast, boys and girls. Let's look. We have food and stuff. In this episode, the Wizards are a mess. Tiger and Phil join us for 5 good minutes.
Good.
And we will present our turkeys of the year.
What is that? That's frightening.
That's very frightening. But we begin today with the highest scoring game of the year and the highest rated Monday night game in 5 years. The Rams' mesmerizing shootout win over the Chiefs last night, 54-51. It's the first time in the history of the NFL that a team scored 50 and lost. It was an aerial extravaganza. Jared Goff had 413 yards and 4 touchdowns passing. Patrick Mahomes had 478 yards and 6 touchdowns passing. But he had 3 picks and 2 fumbles. And afterwards, Mahomes blamed himself for the loss. Wilbon, does he deserve the blame?
No. But before we get to that, you went through mesmerizing, captivating, riveting.
No, mesmerizing.
It was all right. It's a bunch of throwing. It's high school ball.
It's the way we play.
It's a bunch of guys flinging 7-on-7.
It's the way we play.
Why not just play Frisbee on the beach?
That's fine.
You know what?
That's fine.
I understand that most people like it. I'm going to tell you what I felt about it. It was highly entertaining.
Yeah.
But it wasn't compelling because there's only one side of the game being played. And people say, well, there were defensive plays. Well, not many if 104 points were scored.
In fact,
105.
The defense accounted for 3 full touchdowns.
Okay.
In fact, the best play of the game, first of all, the best player on the field was probably Aaron Donald, who's a defensive player. The best play of the game was number 50. I'm going to get his name wrong. Ibukam. From the Rams, who hit Mahomes on the pass that created the interception.
The last interception.
So what you had was an unbelievable show of offense.
Yeah.
But what you can't say is that you were legislated against defense because the defense was important.
105 points. That's the only argument I need. Case closed.
That's the new way we play. You know what, Mike?
I don't love it.
Well, there's a new way we play in the NBA.
It is. I don't like that.
It's called go get threes. It's hunt down threes.
Every sport.
People like
home runs, launch angle. It's every sport. I get it.
Ratings are up in the NFL this year because every week there are walk-offs, something or other.
Better. Let me go to something else.
Good. This one was good.
This one was good.
This one was good.
This one was not good. It was great.
And it exceeded the hype.
The problem is we are likely to get every team is going to go out now and try to copy what the Rams and I know that. But they'll try. The NBA does. They can't copy what Golden State does, but they try. Let me go to this.
What do you want to see?
I'm looking at this game.
Look down the road
last night. Well, I am. I'm trying to figure out how many defensive teams are the legit defensive units in the NFL that could stop one of those groups or slow them up in a playoff game.
Right.
I come up with Rams, Ravens, Titans, Houston, and most importantly, Steelers, Bears. Did I say Ravens?
Yeah.
Those are the only teams. Tony, that's 6 teams. That's not very much.
What we are looking at now is an elite 4 teams. We're looking at Kansas City, whose only 2 losses are at New England and at the Rams by 3 points.
Yeah.
We're looking at the Saints, who appear to be the best team at the moment because they beat the Rams. And we're looking at New England because we're always looking at New England. All of these teams that you mentioned have a chance, but they are not as good as that top 4.
I'm talking specifically defenses that can challenge in any given week those offenses. Don't you want to see that?
Let me ask you this, though.
Or everybody with
can any of those teams that you like win 2 games in a row against offense like this? I don't know about.
Well, they're not going to get 2 in a row.
Well, they will.
Those offensive teams are going to be the one team they get after a win in the playoffs.
You're going to have to win 2. You're going to have to beat 2 offensive teams.
Let's go from the sublime to the ridiculous. Your Washington Wizards.
No, they're not mine
they're
anymore.
yours.
No.
Have responded to John Wall's FU to Coach Scott Brooks by fining their all-star point guard an undisclosed amount. But that's just part of the problem, as you know. The Wizards, who in good times encounter almost every speed bump anyway, are in full-on dysfunction now, according to multiple reports. And Ernie Grunfeld is in the midst of a dust storm, which would appear to demand at least one big trade. Tony, if you were running the franchise, how would you attack this crisis?
There is no team there. They are 5-11. They have John Wall and Bradley Beal.
It's individual assets.
And it doesn't matter. I've talked to you about this for years, and you know about John Wall. John Wall has consistently complained, for years, I don't get any national recognition. I don't have a big sneaker contract.
It's getting national recognition.
This year, he is complaining almost every night about, I go to the basket, I don't get foul calls. Mike, that's the mindset of an individual player. It's not the mindset of a team leader.
You're right about that.
What they have is I believe, one tradable asset, Bradley Beal, at the moment, because John Wall's contract is unbelievable in the last 4 years.
Well, the last year he's going to make $47 million. I said,
who's going to pick it up?
$47 million. I don't know. But I wonder this, okay, if I'm running a team, and I got to blow it up. Look, the Wizards once traded, Ernie Grunfeld, traded the most untradeable contract in the history of the game at the time, Gilbert Arenas.
That's right.
And we said,
what do you have to take
he can't
back?
Do it.
He did it.
He took some pieces, and they weren't any worse. And this is sad to me, because John Wall is a talented basketball player at the all-important position of point guard.
Sure.
And Bradley Beal is talented at what we do best in the league now, which you just mentioned.
Shoot threes.
He can stroke it.
Absolutely.
People want Bradley Beal. I don't know where they could go, Tony.
It's also been written for years. Well, it's also been written for years. They don't even like each other.
But I think they got past that, and it still doesn't work.
No. And I think you have to. Well, you think you can trade John Wall, and you would do it. You would roll the dice and trade John Wall.
Because I think that if you're going to blow this up, maybe you don't have to if your mindset is that. If you traded John, and I'm not sure that's going to be a solution, Tony. I like John Wall. You could get more in return, at least in theory, although at least one of those contracts is going to have to be big and awful. You're going to have to get something else, and maybe you can keep your other assets. Otto Porter, Bradley Beal. Dare I mention Dwight Howard? Dare I mention?
Dwight Howard, who plays once in a while because his can hurts most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do with the coach?
Oubre.
What do you do with the coach? What do you do?
They're on the hook for a lot of money.
$7 million a year.
It was a 5-year deal, wasn't it?
5-year deal. What do you do? They are, would you agree, probably the most disappointing team in the league
Tony,
right
when
now?
you go through, you could like a lot of individual pieces. I like Scott Brooks.
Is it a team?
But this thing ain't working.
No, not a team.
It's not working.
The first log on the hot stove league fire was lit yesterday as the Yankees traded for James Paxton, the big left-handed starting pitcher of Seattle. He is Canadian. He's known as the Big Maple, and he went 11-6 last year with a 3.76 ERA, which is good in the American League. He will fit quite nicely between Severino and Tanaka. Wilbon, are the Yankees now better than the Red Sox?
No. First of all, you have to make sure that the Big Maple is not in the big unit, meaning the hospital.
Right.
He is on the disabled list 6 times in the last 5 seasons. And, Tony,
it's a lot.
Several of those trips have been like half the season, 3.5 months one time, 4 months another time. I understand why the Yankees would do this. Starting pitching is what they were thin at. They needed to go and beef that up. In the process, a guy is sort of forgotten is Sheffield, who also has a lot of talent, and I think is only 22 years old. But this does not in any way to me, as close as they were with 100 games won, they finished 8 games behind the Red Sox. Yeah. I don't think this allows them to catch
let's
the
look
Red
at that,
Sox.
because we just looked at the top teams in the NFL. The top 3 teams in baseball, the Red Sox, they won 108. The Astros, they won 103, and the Yankees, they won 100. The Yankees just got better. Did they get better than the Red Sox? No. The Red Sox went through the playoffs against the Yankees, the Astros, and the Dodgers. They lost 1 game in each round. They were 11-3 against the best teams that were out there. And they answered every question about their starting pitching because Chris Sale and David Price were very, very good. And they've got hitting. So are the Yankees better? Might they be as good? Yeah. They might be, but they are not better than the Red Sox.
Well, the first thing you have to answer about Big Maple is his health.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that entire Brian Cashman brain trust is sitting around thinking about what to do to anticipate this
they have to have
and keep him off the DL.
That's what they need.
Well, they just
is
gave
starting
up some
pitching.
assets for starting pitching.
And that's
one
what they
asset
got. That's what they
Sheffield.
got. So it is remarkable to me when you look at how strong the American League is. Because I didn't even mention the Indians. I didn't mention Oakland. I didn't mention Tampa. I didn't mention Seattle. They were all good teams.
All good.
Really.
Absolutely.
Good. Let's take a break. But
Seattle
coming up,
take a step back.
Stay tuned, kids. We're going to chat with a couple of promising young golfers about a match they intend to play on Friday.
I've seen those guys.
Who are they?
Later, remember when Rodney Hood slapped a cell phone out of a fan's hand? Did that actually qualify him for one of our turkeys of the year?
Which one is Tiger and which one is Phil? Which one's the lefty? Which one?
Lefties on the left.
Pardon the interruption.
If you're looking for another way to escape your family over the holiday, Tiger and Phil have come through. Their duel in the desert called Capital One The Match begins Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern on pay-per-view. Let's welcome in Tiger and Phil. I believe you guys know each other. You're promoting this together. You've collaborated. It's a partnership. At what point, if at all, does going out and winning matter?
Now. I've been getting beat by this guy for so many years. I've lost majors to him, tournaments to him. So much would come back, and the feeling of satisfaction by winning this match. This one day gives me an opportunity to take out years of frustration that he's given me, and just feel so much better about it.
And there's nothing better than taking cash off this guy.
We're going to get to that part in a minute. You two have drawn more people to this sport than Arnold Palmer, in the 50s. Yet, there are going to be no people on the golf course. I want to hear sort of why that decision was made. The last time we saw Tiger, it was like Moses leading the people up the 18th fairway in Atlanta. And so no people. What is that about?
Mike, get the big picture here for a second. You're going to see a glimpse into what watching sports is in the future that you can do with two people that you can't do with a lot of others. You're going to have live on-screen odds that you can make wagers on your phone. You're going to hear banter from us. The reason it's on pay-per-view is we wanted to get rid of the commercials so you didn't miss out on the conversations, the banter between players and caddies that you miss on every other telecast. We can have that on an event like this. And so to inundate the golf course with people would take away from the experience for the fans at home and the viewers at home. So it doesn't make sense. This is designed to cater to those that are at home watching it and making an experience that you've never had before on a telecast.
All right, so let me follow up on that, because all athletes are athletes first, but there's a great entertainment value in this. Do either of you feel not so much pressure, but the sort of understanding, yes, I'm entertaining in this, so I'm going to be a little bit different than I normally am?
This is going to be a little bit different. I mean, this is a different showcase and a different presentation of our sport. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit different, but it's like, it comes right down to it. It's, we're still going out there competing. We're still trying to beat each other's brains in. And it's a lot like with, the NBA All-Star game, right? You have these guys are loose and giving each other the needle and giving each other the stick, and all of a sudden it gets very serious. And I certainly foresee that happening with us. There's an element that it is entertainment. It is doing something that's different. But also at the end of the day, I never ever want to lose this guy, and that's going to sort of drive me to make a lot of birdies and put a lot of heat on it.
All right, go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
Tony, let me add to this. The FOMO is real. All right, the fear of missing out that you're experiencing right now. It's real. You will be missing out on banter, on on-course challenges, on smack talk, on things that you don't ever get to see on a telecast because we're mic'd up. So don't let FOMO get the better of you. Watch.
All right, so speaking of mic'd up, Tony knows if I'm mic'd up on a golf course, I couldn't. The F-bombs would just fly constantly. What I want to know from you guys, and I'm thinking more Tiger than Phil, but it could be both of you.
already.
I'm familiar with that a little bit, Tiger. We're talking about pay-per-view. This is not like regular over-the-air. Can you guys say literally whatever you want and feel comfortable?
That is affirmative.
This is good to know, right, Tony?
Well, we've seen this before.
We like this.
Yeah, this would be it would be an incredible amount of fines, just like a fine, per
we
event.
call that the HBO version here on this show.
Tour. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll get you out of here on this. I've been different than Wilbon. I have said for months I intend to watch this. I really want to. And Wilbon says no. But let me get to this. $9 million is an absurd amount of money to almost everybody in the world. It's almost meaningless because it's so high. Is there any thought the two of you would play, a $10 Nassau, and you would play automatic 2-down presses and stuff like that, and you'd literally take the money out of your own pocket at the end of the match?
you want to, because this isn't a major championship or a PGA Tour event, you have to create the tension and create the drama, and this is a number that makes us both uncomfortable. And the online on-course challenges will be donated to charity, and we'll have 6 to 7 figures going to charities of both of our choices. But we wanted to create a drama, and it doesn't matter how successful we've been in our life. That's a number that makes us both uncomfortable.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, at the end, could I expect to see one of you
In a good way.
take
Yes,
out
in
a
a good way.
$50 bill and hand it to the other guy and say, "You beat me, I'm
Like
done"?
Tony has to do with me at 18 at Columbia,
Yes.
Phil.
Well, over the course of the years, we've certainly had our share of side wagers, and this is no different. We'll have challenges, and there's going to be an absurd amount of money going to charity, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Here's 100, Tiger. That doesn't make me uncomfortable.
That's good.
Go ahead, take it.
See, this is how it is dealing with him.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you
it
both.
very much. Have
Happy
fun.
Thanksgiving.
You got it, guys.
Let's take one last break, but we have a lot of shows still to come. Sean Payton and Dirk Cutter look like turkeys, but did they make our turkeys of the year?
Also, another unusual development in the short career of Markelle Fultz.
This is all you want to do. You want to see somebody
That's it.
take out a 50 or 100, or in our case, a 5, and
Yeah,
just hand it
it's a
over.
5.
That's what you want.
A 5.
It's time for our annual Thanksgiving tradition, this stupid costume, and the PTI Turkeys of the Year. Tell the people our criteria, Wilbon.
There is none.
Totally baseless. Roll the tape.
Roll it.
Here we go. Brad Marchand,
Oh,
face
God.
licker.
That's
Licking
it.
a Tampa guy and then a Toronto guy.
You can stop rolling now.
Unsanitary.
It's
Get
Brad
me through.
Marchand.
Roy Williams, jacket tear failing.
He wears nice
Look
clothing.
at old Roy.
Roy
Dan
Williams
Gummit.
is well
Do it from the
dressed.
bottom.
Roy,
Do
what
it
are
from
you
the bottom.
doing?
I won more
Jose
premierships
Mourinho.
alone than the other 19
might be
managers
runner-up.
together.
He wants respect. He's got 3.
For me
3.
and 2 for
Respect.
I think he's the runner-up.
Respect. I actually love that guy. I do. Stay with soccer. Zlatan, our boy, hits this guy in the head and then
they both
falls
go
down.
down. Look at that.
That's a fraud. I love him
Zlatan,
so
what are
much,
you
but he's
doing?
a complete fraud. That's just jive turkey, as we say in the business. Nothing happened to him. Deontay Wilder, mascot
I
masher.
like that.
Living out the Wilbon dream.
Yes.
Punching the mascot.
He's
Do you
not
like
a
that?
turkey. He's hero of the year. Bounce
Curtis
him.
Harper, ring retreater. The bell sounds, he
This is
walks
funny.
out. He claimed they
just
didn't pay him
bailed.
enough.
Give him his money.
It looks gutless, doesn't it? Come on, that looks
Come on,
gutless.
pay the man.
Carolina Pliskova, racket wrecker.
Ooh.
Look at her. She's very
Ooh.
upset. She's smashing things around. On that same topic, we have Benoit Paire, multiple racket wrecker. He did this in D.C. in the City Open. Tell Pliskova, this is how you do it. That's what you're
They
supposed
should
to
have
do.
thrown him out of the next tournament.
Absolutely.
You got to act like that big a fool.
He's a clown. Rain Gibson, caddy crusher. The caddy picked up the ball errantly, cost him a stroke and 12 grand. He
You
throws
got to
and-
take a club
and hit him.
and take a swing.
No, you have to hit
do.
him. Rakeem Boyd, teammate tackler. This is that terrible Arkansas play. They run into each other. This is called whoops pig suey, baby. That is awful, isn't it? Are you watching?
No.
You're taking notes.
I'm
What are you doing?
taking notes about Brad
Mexican
Marchand.
League umps. They swing missers. The guy swings.
The guy swings
He
and they
calls it
say,
a ball.
What
and
are
they
you
go to
doing?
first. They go to first. The first guy
They
says,
got no replay?
absolutely ridiculous. Ken Giles, self-puncher, gives up a 3-run homer, punches himself in the jaw.
That's like an old Dick
That's
the Bruiser
insane.
and the Crusher of pro wrestling.
Completely
move.
insane. Now we go to
Whoa.
Rays Feelers, crotch colliders, and I think the less said about this, the better.
Yeah, just move on from
That's
that.
that. Well, look at that replay.
Oh, God.
That is harsh. That is truly harsh. We go now to Boone Jenner, same team slasher. He slams the stick. He gets his own guy in the wrist. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, I mean, that's a reason to find somebody
Hit
a
that
lot
guy.
of money.
Just hit him. High school basketball player coming up, Felonious Fowler. This is in Kansas.
Oh!
It's awful. He should have been tossed. Look at this. He pushes him. And he
Yeah.
wasn't tossed.
Yeah,
he
he
just
should've-
got a
you
flake
gotta
and
be
he wasn't
tossed.
tossed.
And
Rob
an extra
Gronkowski,
game.
quarter concussor. You can't do this.
Well, he was thrown out, though,
No,
right?
he wasn't. He wasn't. He smashed the corner's head and he wasn't tossed.
That was
That's
a
all.
long- that was
Ty
last
Montgomery, kneel down Nixon, dumbest play in football. He cost Aaron Rodgers a chance to win a game.
You know
cost
what?
himself a job.
I'm going the
He
other
got
way now.
traded.
Green Bay's not good enough to presume anything.
No, but look,
They're not.
you can't look at Aaron.
I know.
Think he's happy. And finally, And this is the ding, ding, ding for me. J.R. Smith, score forgetter. We have a winner. He cost Cleveland a shot at game 1. Then they got swept. It's probably why LeBron left. Look at LeBron looking at him. He's the one that I think is the worst. Who do you think is the worst?
I got a couple of runners up. The golfer who assaulted his caddy.
That's bad, throwing
that you got to hit him.
That's bad.
Jose Mourinho, he's the first runner up. But number 1, Tony, Brad Marchand.
Because
he is the turkey of the decade.
There they are on
Of the
turkeys in the
decade.
year. We have no errors
We're
today.
8 years
Look at this
through.
terrible costume.
What are you doing?
We go to the
You're only
big
half
this is
wearing
awful. According to the Athletics' David Aldridge, our pal,
Aldridge, the
Markelle
Athletic.
Fultz's agent says Fultz will not participate in practices or games until his shoulder is evaluated next week. What do you read into that?
He's in a lot of trouble, and I'm not going to make fun of it because it's sad to me. Gordon Hayward came off the bench for the Celtics last night. Significant.
He's a max player. If he's off the bench,
Get
then he
4
never
points.
really healed. He never really healed from the leg thing. The Cavs say your boy J.R. Smith is no longer with the team as they work on a trade deal. Your thoughts?
He's not the turkey of the year. There's some teams that can use J.R. Smith, and I'm serious. I know you don't like him. I do, very much.
Don't.
Adrian Beltre retired after 21 years in baseball. What are you going to miss about him?
That he wouldn't let anybody touch his head, but he's got Hall of Fame
Hall of
credentials.
Fame, yeah.
He's got
Oh, yeah.
3,166 hits. Last one, number 1 Duke and number 8 Auburn tonight in Maui. Are you smelling upset?
Oh, that's sweet potato pie I'm smelling.
Yeah, this stuff looks pretty good, by the way.
No upset.
We're out of time.
Duke wins again.
We're going to try and do better the
But
next
closer.
time. This costume is a
Not by
joke.
35.
I'm Tony Kornheiser.
You're the turkey of the year. I'm Mike Wilbon. We're off until Monday, knuckleheads. So have a very, very happy Thanksgiving.
Jimmy of the Four Seasons in Chicago, shout out. Thanks for your help the other night.
Oh, yeah, he's got the coach.